started recording.
All right.
All right.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, hi. Welcome back. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a serious episode. We've been having technical difficulties this entire duration. There's a pressure cooker on in my house. All of our internets are bad. I don't know if anybody can hear anybody. We just recorded on Sunday. An episode was out on Monday. So, there's not much to talk about. But we have a guest this time. Before that, Artem, what's up? Can you hear me?
No. And also, we
Alright.
didn't record on Sunday. You fraud. You can't even remember the days of the week.
Yeah, I can't remember the days. Why should I remember the days of the week? There's no point.
I
Time is a
know,
human
yeah.
construct.
You finished school and now you've just been living one long day.
Exactly. I have been living one long day. It's honestly like match days are the only days I really care for. The rest is just like a blur. Our guest today, um, some of you might know him. It's not like he's been on the pod 14 times. Um, it's David. What's up, David? Do you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
He
I just want
seems
to clarify.
hear us.
I have good internet. You said we all have bad internet. That's a lie. I have good internet.
Yeah, time will tell.
I will do a speed test right now.
What?
Okay,
Live on stream?
Yeah, live on screen.
Do it. Okay,
Just-
I'm not scared today. Do it. Show us. Go. Click new tab and show us.
Okay. Top quality, right? You ready for this?
Yes, we're ready for this. See, this is going to be this entire episode. We're not going to talk about Russian football. Ooh, that's banging, mate. Those are some
that's actually
serious
shit.
speeds. Those are
Fuck
some
me.
serious speeds you got, mate. That's
That
not
is-
actually that. 19
bad.
isn't horrible. It's not horrible. 19 isn't horrible. You can survive on 19. But
No, I will admit that is pretty bad. It's usually around 100, so it probably is my fault.
I've got 231.
oh, jeez. I'm gonna do one on my end as well. But before that, we do have a few quick shout outs. Shout out Kairat. They just beat Maccabi Haifa and they lost to them last year. And we love the Kazakhstan. Not we, I love the Kazakhstani. Artem pretends to love the Kazakhstanis. I'm not fully sure if he does. David doesn't care. But yeah, shout out Kairat. Kairat Moscow are also winning. They're playing in the cup, they're in the PFL. So that was our shout out. But before we talk about some news pieces that we have, someone please explain to me how it is possible for CSKA to make a 96 million euro loss. They spent 125 million on something. We don't know what that something is. Because
I think that was Gaich's agent fees.
might have been Gaich's agent fees. And by the way, I have prepared an entire spreadsheet with all this information. It took me like a day, but I am very unemployed despite being employed.
Rookie numbers.
So,
Taking a day to make up a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, David would know about spreadsheets, but
Yeah, mine take
Yeah.
weeks though.
someone please tell me how explain this to me. I've not been the same human since I found out that they made a 96 million euro loss, which is like more than any Premier League club. I don't care if it's COVID. Their expenses didn't rise. It was not like their revenue just dropped. It wasn't that deep. They just spent 125 on something. Please make it make sense.
Well, I'll tell you what they didn't spend it on. And it was cameras, because look at the state of that. Look how many pink pixels there are on the
That's not
screen.
I did wonder why he chose that picture, that guy on his tweet. Because it's the worst
It's
picture you've
so
ever
bad.
seen.
No, but seriously, no idea. Like, I genuinely, there are some stadiums you could buy for less than that. So
You can buy
beyond
clubs, stadiums. You can buy like an entire, you can buy a country for that much money, man. That they just spent it on. And I don't know how they're alive as a club. They're like 25 million in debt. I just don't know how they're surviving. But yeah, that spreadsheet will be up at some point on RFN. What I learned is that Krilia are actually like sustainable.
gang, gang.
They're all in the green. But the problem is that like 85% of their money comes from the government. It's not good.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of a standard thing for clubs that aren't top clubs in Russia, isn't it?
Yeah, half the teams are
No,
sponsored by the local government, isn't it?
it is, but it's like not to that degree. Like Akhmat, by the way, are the most unsustainable club in Russia. If
Is
Kazimov,
anyone surprised by that?
Didn't I see?
Yeah.
I looked at your sheet. Didn't it say that they had zero income from match days or something?
they had 35 grand from match day, which is the lowest out of any club.
It's
Like
probably
it's
because
not.
they force people to go rather than paying them.
Yeah,
That's just that's speculation. Please don't libel us.
don't worry. If the Akhmat lawyers come, I'll save you. But
You know, I think we'd be doing pretty well to get the Ahmad lawyers to listen to the podcast.
probably would. Yeah, that is true. But hold up. Oh
We're
my
holding
God,
up.
I'm such a fraud, man. I am a massive fraud. Hold up, yeah. I'll keep talking. But yeah,
But
I just
basically,
tweet.
what you're saying is that Krylia are a better club than CSKA. That's where this was all going, really.
Yes, it is. That is where it's all going. What I've basically done, right, and why I've just shut up is because I tweeted the lineup, right, and for some reason I tweeted it in Russian and not in English. I don't know how that's happened since I have the English graphic downloaded. But yeah, Krylia are good. Lokomotiv make a lot of money. They make the second most money in Russia after Zenit. They're surprisingly sustainable. And yeah, like there's a couple of good clubs you'll see in the spreadsheet. But what real topics do we have? You guys talk till I tweet the actual lineup.
I was going to say, should we look at the lineups quick since you've just tweeted them? And I see Ruben have put theirs out.
Yeah,
There's a big game. There's a big game to preface this kicking off.
Very big.
Spartak versus Ruben.
Shout out if you're listening to the podcast and you see one of your tweets come up.
Yeah.
See, look, there's the tweet. I just saw it got deleted. That's great. So this is Ruben.
What is the Ruben lineup? Actually, I'm tweeting ours out. So
Fairly standard. Just no Starfelt because obviously he's not with the squad currently.
Yeah, so whoever's listening, it's Tupin in goal, Samoshnikov, Nizhegorod, Uremovic, and Ignatiev at the back, Huang, Abelgard, Haksabanovic, Khricha, Bakayev, and up front is Despot.
Yeah.
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Spartak squad is Selikhov, Raskazov, Zhigo, Gaponov, Artem. In midfield is Umerov, Hendricks, Moses, Bakayev, and Mirzov. And up front is Melkadze.
Yes, unfortunately.
Pedro
That's
Rocha
strange.
on the bench. Pedro Rocha on the bench there. Look at that.
That's not strange. He started all of our games at striker, so it's standard now. And you know what he said?
well.
So he's not good up front, but he's surprisingly good as like a playmaker, like with the through balls and stuff. Very good player.
But that's what surprises me is like, why would you play him as the sole striker if you've got other players that can play in that position and maybe implement him at the squad later on?
Larson and Sobolev is still getting back after the
Yeah,
holidays.
Sobolev like scored a banger when he came on last time, so there's that.
Ah, yeah, but you could even put like, I don't know, you could put Promise up there. You could put Dzhikiya up there. He used to play striker.
Did he?
Really?
He did.
Yes, you just made that up on the spot.
No, I swear on my life. Even if you look at him on Football Manager, it's actually quite hilarious. It's something like he plays like perfectly at centre back, but his natural position is striker or something stupid.
You're not confusing with the other Dzhikiya who does play as striker.
Artem is dead.
He's just blown his mind.
Artem.
Let's just talk about how sad we are that Ignatov's not starting again.
Yeah, Ignatov's probably the worst. No, actually, he scored like a goal, didn't he? From open play. Okay, Artem's back.
Sort of. Ignatov, no, your guy Ignatov.
Oh, our Ignatov. No, he is phenomenal.
Yeah.
What a play.
He's
Ignatov
great.
is great. Now, listen, man, I'm telling you, right? We have exchanged Sobolev and Pons up front. Like, so if Sobolev or Pons, and then like we can have our attacking four. There's two great attacking fours we can play. So you can do Glushenkov, Ignatov, Mirzov maybe if you want. And then you have, or Baka, yeah, even. And then it's like Promes, Ignatov. There's a lot of choice in there, is what I'm saying. Sochi won their game against Khimki. quite a thriller. They won 3-2. Artem, are you back? So I can stop pretending like I care about the Sochi game.
I've been listening to this the whole time. I don't know why you think I was gone.
You were
But
gone. You didn't
clearly.
talk.
We definitely couldn't hear you very well.
Yeah.
Well, apparently David blew my mind. No minds were blown over on this end.
Well, we couldn't
Clearly,
hear your
right?
reaction.
It's not here, but you could see he used to play left midfield at least, and I swear he used to play front. May have been in his youth days, but at some point.
To be honest, man, everybody. But you saw that he scored a free kick like a couple of years ago, and it was like a great shot. So he is.
I give you the benefit of the doubt for now.
Yeah, not just playing. I'm sure he did play up front at some point. But yeah, going to transfers and stuff. Carl Starfelt is leaving Ruben to go to Celtic, which in my opinion is that a downgrade or an upgrade, or what is that?
I mean, Celtic are a big club in a medium country, and Ruben are a medium club in a medium country, I suppose. I think just Scotland's proximity to England makes Celtic a more prosperous place to be. You know, they're constantly going to be in either Europa or Champions League as well. So if
I was to put Ruben up against Celtic, I actually think Ruben would probably win. But David's right. Like it is technically a step up in terms of how big the Celtic brand is. So
yeah,
it's probably a step forward in that way. And to be honest, like because the Scottish league isn't maybe as good as the Russian league, I think we'll all probably agree with that. He'll probably look even better and may even get another move further, which is good.
And that's the thing. Like he's good, but I wouldn't go much further than that. Like he's been good for us, but there's also been times where he's been not very good for us. So it's still a loss because he's one of our foreign players and he's one of our main defenders, and our squad has too many foreigners, so it's going to be tricky to replace him. But at the same time, it's like, well, we've got good money for him and he's not like a world beater, so I think it's a good time to cash in. That's sort of where I feel.
Who's going to replace him though? Would it be Begic, or do you think you will sign someone?
I imagine it would be Begic. Begic was okay, sort of in the spring when he had to play because Iramovic missed a bit, and then we signed this young kid who was starting today against Spartak, Dzhikiya.
Yeah.
So I think we won't do much more than that. I don't imagine we'll actually replace Starfelt with anyone, which is kind of a shame, just because of the limit, really.
It is, yeah. The limits are fraud. We'll never stop talking about it. Is that a good segue to talk about how they're making the RPL into whatever they're making it into?
I think it is, but at the same time, I do think we need to mention this one. Like, obviously, like we talked about CSKA, we didn't talk about Vlasic actually moving. It seems like his deal is close to being done, and AC Milan are looking to loan him for the first year and then have an obligation to buy out at 25 million next year due to financial reasons. I think we're all in agreement that is a terrible deal on CSKA's part, because especially if they don't get much money up front.
It's 5 million they're saying up front, which is
nothing really in the grand scheme of things. Like if you need to replace Vlasic, you're not doing it for 5 million, and it's not like the financial fair play is going to be kind to them with their balance sheet.
Yeah. So I mean, do you think? I think like they have to sell him, right? Like I think
they don't have any option. He's leaving. Like he
didn't show up to the training.
Exactly. If they didn't agree to sell him, he'd just sit on the bench for the season, which would just be a waste for everyone.
Yeah, he's too good. I mean, we knew he was going to go, like considering how good he's been over the last couple of years. And now they haven't got Europe. It's like perfect time for him to go.
Yeah, exactly.
There
was also,
The felon. We're gonna talk about the felon. Artem, are you there?
Apart from
Art,
that, oh, not again.
Okay,
Artem is,
no, you're back.
you're
You're
back.
back.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. Yeah, as soon as you realize that you aren't there, you're back.
So annoying. Anyway, Iosifov is the transfer I'm talking about.
Okay, not the felon. Yeah, Iosifov.
Well, we're talking about the felon afterwards, but
All right. So yeah, Iosifov moved to Villarreal. It's been in the works for a while, but we're glad that it happened. Obviously,
Mm.
and it's been a good window for Russian players moving abroad. That Mikhailov guy went to Schalke on loan from Zenit. And then like Rubin's players are going to Croatia, apparently, which is something you should ask David about. Lunev is playing for Bayer, so it's
Yeah,
been
it's
a
cool.
good window, man.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about it last week on the pod about the Russians going abroad, and even if it's just smaller ones, we'll take it. Golenkov obviously is trying to go to Czech Republic. He was with, which club was he with? I forget. Not Slovan Liberec.
Sigma. He was with
Sigma.
Sigma.
But I don't know what's going on with that because he was like not in the last squad they listed, so I don't know where he is. But basically, it seems like he's going to try and move abroad, which it's cool. We saw it, but I sort of have reservations because I think about Komlichenko, went to Czech Republic, absolutely killed it for 2 years, and now look at how terrible he seems to be. So I'm wary.
Weird thing is that Komlichenko looks like he's scoring and training for Rostov. I mean, in the friendlies and stuff, which like maybe he could be serious for them, but it's hard to really say, man. Artem, are you there?
no, I'm gonna put my neck out on the line here. I'm gonna say that Komlichenko will get 10 goals this season.
Okay, listen, man. You said Ignatov was gonna get 5 and he hasn't gotten any. So
hang on. When is that bet over?
You said, listen, man. When we had our
No.
out,
When is that bet over?
I don't know. It's already
It's
consider it
it's over
over.
at the end of the year.
He's going to.
We've got months to go.
Does that include friendlies as well?
No, it doesn't include friendlies. Only official games, and we've got until the end of this year.
But does it include official games in Belarus?
Yeah, because they're official games.
Because that's where he's gonna go.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna say Komlichenko is gonna make his way back up. Like Rostov
To be fair, yeah, I agree.
have had a few good players in the past, and I don't know. I remember that season when Zuba was at Rostov, where he absolutely ripped it up down there on loan from Spartak, and I just feel like this could be the same chance for Komlichenko. Revive his career. Don't forget that he has the record for most goals in the Czech Republic. Like it's all well and good to say like, oh yeah, he played in Czech Republic. Obviously, their level of football is not as good as Russian, but like if you're the record breaker anywhere, you've got to be pretty good. Like
yeah,
I feel like he'll do better than Ali Sal.
Hey, respect Ali Sal. Ali Sal's been good. Why are you going at Ali Sal for no reason?
I mean, there's not no reason. Like the man's a bit. I'm gonna say it. He's a bit like Eder.
What?
He's got like no control over his own legs. We saw that last season. Like he scored like 3 goals and 2 of them by accident.
He scored. When did Eder score 3 goals? Eder has never scored 3 goals.
I'm talking about Sal scoring like 3 goals.
You compared him to Eder. Eder has never scored 3 goals. That's not a fair comparison.
David, I will have you know that Eder lifted the Euros trophy twice.
Oh, yes.
He did.
On Sunday.
I can't believe he's going to live off that goal forever.
He should. Honestly. If I scored that goal, of course I'd want to live off it forever. I don't care if it was. And it was a good goal.
When he walked in, I was like, I know who that guy is. And everyone's like, well, who is he then?
Yeah.
It's the worst strike you've ever seen.
It's iconic. But no, shout out Italy. What a country.
Isn't it crazy that the only reason Ronaldo has an international trophy is because of Eder? Yeah. And the only reason Messi has an international trophy is because of who was Emiliano Martinez.
Yeah.
So like, just proves who the real goats are.
Yeah, that is true. And the thing is, right, Argentina and Brazil are both at the Olympics, and there's a good chance that one of them wins. So we might actually have to say the words Olympic gold medalist Adolfo Gaich. Like, or not Adolfo, Olympic gold medalist Bruno Fuchs. We might have to say that at some point.
Or Malcolm. Someone
Yeah,
was
but
saying that Malcolm might go now. Spartak
Malcolm,
got lucky that Ayrton didn't get called up. I think he deserved it, but
he
he
deserved
missed
it for
out.
sure, yeah. But Pons is going, so
Yeah.
But, Hanu, you know who we won't be saying is a gold medalist?
who?
Kevin Durant. That's who.
Oh yeah, the Americans are fraudulent.
Frauds.
Can we? I've realised something that we don't have on a tab. Can we just sort of mention the Spartak Zenit Twitter beef?
Who did that? I've never heard of that. I don't be on Twitter. I don't be on.
Come on,
Artem
Artem,
will
get it up.
confirm.
Let's have a look at it because it made the news and everything. Got comments
It
out
did
of
make the news.
Zarima
Right?
made some comments on it as well.
Yeah, they're the
We all know how
best of
much
the
we love
positive.
Zarima in this place.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna say nothing about that. I might be unemployed, so I leave that up to you two. But
Zenit got bodied. Let's just end it there. Zenit got bodied.
no, we can talk about the beef. Don't talk about
Zarima.
Exactly. Don't talk. You can talk about sports. Are you the whole beef? Do that. Have fun. But yeah, no. Artem, how does it feel knowing that this podcast was like this was the number one trending thing on Sports Are You for a good 3 hours? Even more, it probably might have. Like the red fire thing was there. You know how they put the emoji next to the
Yeah.
to their stories. It had like 300 comments, most of which were calling me and Anton brain dead school children, which
From
is
Zenit
rude.
fans. Yeah.
It was all people, man. It was Spartak fans and stuff. But that's rude because I left school a month ago, so at least respect me in that sense. But
They clearly haven't been listening to the podcast, or otherwise they'd know.
exactly.
Ended up with some good numbers on it too.
How was this the number one trending thing in all of Russian football media, in all of Russian sport media?
I mean, Hanu, you said it yourself. There's not really much going on right now. Like, there's a reason that this podcast is like the fact that we have been recording so like sporadically throughout the summer just tells you just how little is going on. Because me and Hanu will talk about anything, and in fact, half of our podcast isn't even about Russian football, and we still couldn't find anything to talk about. So it just says everything's dead. Like the Euros, they were good, but shit, it's over now.
It is, but yeah, that
this was the best tweet by far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except one thing, Hanu, a constructive criticism.
Okay.
You did put in Zenit Italiano in twice, I think. There was a couple that overlapped. Which
yeah, there might have been, but that's because I was struggling to find the right screenshots because like not Zenit unrelated accounts were coming up, so it's like it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I do appreciate it.
I mean, it was such the original tweet. It
had nothing to do with.
It was a very harmless meme. I thought
exactly.
The original tweet.
Yeah, just
Zenit decided to come back on it, and that's where it went. It's a good meme too. I'd love to like go back and see who scored for Spartak in that game because I have literally no memory of the match.
Yeah.
I must admit, I do remember the 5-1.
Vlasic scored in the 98th minute. Is all I remember. I checked the score.
Was this that one where they had the great goal from Luis Adriano?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Remember the little triangle pass around
Yeah.
That was good. But yeah, so that was the original tweet for anybody watching the screen. Zenit responded with this, which was also a great game.
It's a good response, by the way. Both of Zenit's responses were good.
Then Hanu responded with this. Sorry, not Hanu. Whoever runs this account.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
this is also good.
that was good, but
It was good.
like this was killer.
Yeah.
This was absolutely killer, and just a bit of a yikes. Like, I think we like all of us. I don't think any of us have hidden away from the fact that we're just a little bit confused as to why there's so many accounts. Like, it used to be like or something like that. Like Hanu, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when not you, but some other Indian guy was working for Zenit India.
Yeah.
Like it was that account, the English account, and the Russian account were like the main accounts, and everything else is just kind of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, like, it just seems like the noise is taking over, especially with their recent calls for help to get followers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been. I would be dangerous and say what I want to say, but
Oh, it's alright. You can text it to me and I'll say it.
that is fair. No,
I mean, as a neutral observer, I mean, we all remember Zenit having some really good Twitter content a few years back.
Yeah.
You know, but it wasn't prolific. It was just the odd thing that would come out every now and then. You know, taking shots at like the Daily Mail or whatever.
But see, that's what made it so good though, because it wasn't all the time. So
Yeah.
when you saw it happen, you were like, "Oh my god!" It always hit. Like there was never a miss when they did it that way.
Mm.
Whereas now, I feel like, you know, obviously Zenit were the original best social media account in Russia,
Yeah.
and then like it changed very quickly, and like the model now seems to be like get content out there.
But I
You
wouldn't
know,
even
it
say
can
that.
all be 60% content. Doesn't have to be all like
I wouldn't
slaps.
even say that Spartak are putting out like, you know, football Twitter targeted tweets or, you know, content tweets like all the time. You know, it's not prolific still. It's more than it used to be like back in the Zenit days, but it's still not like ridiculous. I think
I don't think
there was a peak a couple of years ago with like Bayer Leverkusen and Roma where it was just ridiculous non-football related all the time, but now it's sort of cooled down a bit and the teams are sort of finding a balance of what to tweet and when.
Yeah, the landscape has changed because it used to be Roma and Bayer Leverkusen and them, and they're still the biggest names in terms of pure numbers, and they still get when they tweet something that they want to bang, it gets numbers.
But see, like you're talking about the balance there, and I think that Spartak actually do have a good balance. Like I think that Jews are actually doing a good job. See, what kind of scares me is how far Zenit have gone from being like I preferred like the way they owned the Daily Mail a lot more than I prefer, let's say, Spartak's general tweets. You know what I mean? Like now and again. But I think the Spartak account is more interesting overall to follow, if that makes sense. Whereas, like, the way that Zen have gone now is they've gone completely against the idea of, okay, let's get stuff organically. And it's more so, okay, we just want the numbers to look really good. And we don't care where those numbers come from, which is a little bit upsetting because I don't know, like, I've never tried to, you know, gain followers from absolutely nothing, and I don't really understand what the point of it is, because you're just gonna get dead followers who don't interact with anything like that, or you know, it doesn't make sense. Like you may as well just buy followers if you're just looking for numbers.
What I like about Spartak is they put out content from their players, sometimes in English as well.
Yeah.
But they also drive interactions related to the team, so they'll be like, put up a photo of Maximenko and they'll be like, who else do you want to see photos of? So then the replies aren't fully just, you know, whack me in or follow back Udoro. It's actually driving the followers to look at the squad on Wiki and pick a player. Just even if they're still only one doing it to get an interaction, at least by doing that they've learned something about the club. They know about a player's name or whatever, and that is bearing the seed. And next time they see a tweet with that player, they might go, "Oh, that's the guy who I
exactly." See, that's the thing. Like whatever we try to do, right? Whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, it's like we try to tie all of our memes in to Spartak in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Even if it's a reaction picture, like we did those sleep memes, right? A lot of sleep memes go about, and we did ones like Zhigo and Moses, but they're sleeping, so it's very easy to make, but it's tied into Spartak in some way, just to ensure that like the content isn't just what, like, you know how there were a couple of tweets in the past about wolves and stuff which had nothing to do with Spartak, which I think we objected to back in the day when, like, in our group chats and stuff, and like we attempt to not do that. We try to tie it into Spartak so that some degree of brand recall does remain, where Spartak might be playing a game in the Champions League or whatever, and some guy might not have anything to do. He's like, oh wait, they're playing. I like their Twitter, and even if in some way you're getting people to remember you or take notice, right? It's something. There
Yeah.
is there's and it's clearly more than just something, because people, like, we're etched in people's heads to some degree at this point, where people mention us, quote us in things that were not even related to, right? Like, there'll be tweets about where Messi is going to go next, and like there's 15 replies telling Spartak. So clearly it's having some impact, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and well, you put out that thing, Spartak are like second biggest club on social media this month or whatever.
In the world on TikTok, which Anton Smirnov, all the credit for that goes to him. Crazy achievement, second in the world on TikTok.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know, Hanu. It also beefs up your CV quite well.
I
So
mean,
that's
I don't
nice.
It does, yeah. Listen, the LinkedIn's for that, right?
I just realized, right? I don't even know how you got into Russian football, Hanu. Like, I have no idea. I don't think.
But you know, I think it's really simple, and Artem's going to call me out on this because I know he thought I was a CSKA fan for a good 6 months.
I didn't think I knew.
Because, like, I know you went to Russia and you went to the CSKA game, but like,
yeah,
I don't know if
that
that's
was
how you started.
Yeah, that is sort of how I started, to be fair, because I went to a CSKA game because there was, I think Spartak 5-1 Sevilla was like a day before that. But like, I think
so not even that long ago. Like, because I remember you from being on Twitter and being on the whatever that account was, like Football Scouted or whatever it was.
Yeah, but that was all way after that, to be fair. I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, 2017, October 2017 was.
You don't remember Isco at the Disco?
Isco on the Disco. Yeah, Isco on the Disco got suspended at some point in 2018. Not exactly.
All your accounts got suspended at some
point. Oh my! It's exactly. I'm just grateful to God this one hasn't been suspended yet. But
Hanu had to move country just to open another Twitter account.
I did have to move, fam. You don't know how much I had. Like, I asked Artem to give me a phone number at one point so that I could create it.
And it still didn't work. I don't know how.
It still didn't work. It still did not work. But one day they just decided to release me from prison, and I can make accounts now. But yeah, so basically watched the CSKA game, and I just sort of, I guess, got interested in that because, and so we did that, and then I came home, I guess, and I looked up Russian football. Then I found Russian football news, right? And then I think I hit I shot a Twitter message or something to Toka, and then he told me, like, what team do you want to write for? Like, I don't know, right? You tell me. And he's like, we don't have much coverage for CSK. I said, fine, I'll do CSK then. So then my first article was about 2005. That year they had the treble. There was a couple after that, because at that point all I was doing was.
So you're already doing football writing at this point?
Yeah, like I started in like May 2017 actually, with just like Real Madrid match reports for some website.
Okay.
And yeah, so then it went to Russian football. I wrote like 4 articles for RFN, and then I just dipped. Really, yeah. And then like I think Zenit hit me up, and then after that was like when my interest in Russian football like really started to grow. But
okay, what was the original reason to go to Moscow? Just on holiday, just for a trip?
It was just for on a holiday, to be fair. But it was a life-changing trip, and I think that's fair to say.
That's cool.
Crazy. I don't know how we got here, but I appreciate. We've 34 minutes already on this podcast. Wow.
Well, this is what happens when you're having fun, Hanu.
Origin stories.
You know,
origin stories. It's sad because I know David's origin story, and I know Artem's origin story. Artem's origin story is the easiest. He's from
my origin story is so dead.
I'm from Russia.
That's the thing, you know what? Whenever I'm talking to people when I'm in Ireland, my origin story is fucking really cool, like, because you know, like, coming over as an illegal immigrant, you know, all of this shit, all the crazy shit that happened with me and my family, and then whenever I'm talking to whenever I'm talking to people in Russia, it's like, oh, you like Russian football? Yeah, well, it makes sense. You're from here. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
but
that's it. Like,
Artem is allegedly an illegal immigrant. Let's
oh no,
not.
there's no alleged about it. We had to admit it when we got here.
So you're illegal now.
No, we're legal now. Like, it's just you come over here and like they ask you like obviously to stop people coming over in future the same way that you did. They'll ask you how did you get here, and like I think my mom said that she got here in a potato truck or something like that. Like it was she said that she got over to Belfast somehow and came down the border into Ireland in a potato truck, which wasn't true. She came in a plane, but yeah, that's pretty much the story. Like it's a long story why I left Russia and stuff like that. I won't bore you with it today, but maybe
Yeah.
some other day I'll go into it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the details of your origin story. That's for sure. Like, I know you're a Russian person living in Ireland since you were a kid, but yeah, I didn't know anything more than that really.
But if Preeti Patel was around when Artem's like parents and stuff were, then Artem wouldn't exist. He would like this call would not be taking place.
Well, it might, but I could be speaking with a really, really big accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you nearly on?
Yeah.
that is true.
But yeah, that's the sauce. Like it's a weird one. It's do you know like my parents actually I'll say it quickly. My parents came over to Ireland because Ireland was the only place that you could have a kid and automatically get residency in Europe.
Okay.
So my mom came over here in 2001 and she gave birth to my brother. So her and my brother were allowed to stay here because they have residency. Then they took away the residency thing, but it was like the whole family got residency if they were over there. But me and my dad were still in Russia, so we had to find a way to get over to Ireland. But as long as we got here, we'd be okay. So just everything in between then was a little bit dodgy, but we moved.
Well, that's a pretty. It is interesting, definitely, but it's quite.
Yeah,
that's what I mean, though. It's more interesting to tell my story to Irish people than it is to tell my story to Russian people, because you know, like people in Russia just like like we know like 50 people who've done the same thing as you, like.
That's fair. That's fair. But to be fair, speaking of origin stories, I don't know anything about RFN's origin stories. Like I don't know why James likes Russian football.
James, I think studied something Russian related.
I think he studied history and the Russian language or something along those lines.
And it's the same with Danny. Danny definitely studied Russian, something Russian related at uni as well. Danny got the tick, by the way. He's verified on Twitter now.
Yeah, big up. Yeah, though James studied. I think James may have lived in Samara for a year or something as well.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely lived, or at least studied in Russia for a bit. I know Tom Giles.
Yeah. Because I remember him telling the story of how he was in. I'm 90% sure it was Samara, because I think that's how me and him like started talking at first. And he lived with some. I think it would have been some like just old granny, or he had an old granny next door who'd always make him food or something like that. I can't remember the exact story, but I remember something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, like that. Those are pretty interesting origin stories, to be fair. But yeah, speaking of verified, this has nothing to do with Danny at all. But it's like I saw a tweet, right, which was that you're verified on Twitter, but are you verified in the eyes of God? And that made me really laugh. But yeah, what else? What are the origin stories? What else can we talk about?
Toka also studied Russian history. I feel like half of the guys studied something Russian related.
Yeah, I remember Toka did I think he may have done I think it was his master's thesis on Russian football in some way. It may have been finances, or it may have been corruption, or something along those lines. So he definitely did study something.
I'm going to just scroll through the members of the Facebook group chat. So Andrew Flint is obvious.
Right? Andrew Flint has a great origin story.
Moved out to Tumen based on an advert he'd seen in a paper to be an English teacher.
See, you know what? That's the
Met
thing.
his
That's
wife.
how I know God exists. There's no other, like, there is no other explanation. There's certain stuff, right? It's like, that's God. That can't be anything else.
That's a massive leap for me.
It's great. And he works at RT now as well, right? I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
got a job there. Which is
So
cool.
look, that
think
has
so.
to be God.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. That's too much of a leap for me. I don't think that that's anything to do with God. I think that's
Come
just
on.
It's just fate. It's fate.
it's just how it works. Like it's like I
determinism.
the way I look at it is that there's an unlimited amount of opportunities, and like that just happened to be the one that happened for him.
How is that? It doesn't have to be God as in Jesus. It's like it's something, right? It's either fate. Fate can be your God. God is whoever you want it to be. But like, is there something? Because I'm sure a lot of people would say that's an irrational decision from you, going from Manchester to the depths of Siberia.
It's definitely wild. I know he'd been like, didn't he do like a year of traveling in like Central America before he did that as well? Because he can speak fairly good Spanish too.
Yeah,
So
I believe
he's
can,
like trilingual. What a guy!
What a bloke, man.
Andrew is honestly one of my favorite people in Russian football. Like
He's
his
so
story,
nice,
I know we're talking about it now, but like his story genuinely, like if you could make it into like a 20-minute documentary or something, genuinely feel like it's like great content.
Yeah, it's great, and he's done so much as well for the league and for the site.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like vlogging from two men driving 3 hours to Yekaterinburg for all their games.
You know, I used to love watching his videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
you know the ones where he
same.
was like just walking around like Tumen and he was like, "Oh yeah, like welcome to the greatest city on earth" and stuff like that. And
man loves the city, and you got to respect it.
it's meant to be really cool, actually. Like I said this to Hanu. I think that after I become basically like at the moment with the way my career is going, like I need to work for 2 years and then try and get my chartered status. But the minute I get my chartered status, I want to take like a month or two out of work and do like a proper trip around Russia. And like I'm talking to like all the cities that like you'd never go for a trip on their own. Like for example, like Rostov would be in there, like Vladivostok would be in there, like Volgograd, all those like smaller cities that like
just do like a day or two in each of those places.
Exactly, yeah. I think I just book it when I'm there, like as in like, oh yeah, I'm kind of sick of this place now. Let's go to the next place, kind of thing, rather than have it all planned out.
That would be awesome.
That would be sick.
I'm really hoping that I'll be able to do that in the next 2 years or so. Fingers crossed, COVID isn't around by then. Fuck me, like.
COVID will probably like be around. It just depresses me, man. I don't even like talking about that shit these days. COVID.
Bro, COVID showed up for you though. You have no excuse. Like, you have to thank COVID.
I do, yeah, but like, thanks for the memories. It's time to go.
COVID is like Arsene Wenger.
Exactly, it is. No, I do. Yeah, I do have to.
It had its heyday.
It had its heyday, man.
When we all got off on the first lockdown for like 2 months, that was like the unbeatable season for Arsenal.
I really did. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I had to work through it all, but I really did enjoy those first couple of months. Like, I loved going out and not seeing a single car when I went for like an hour walk. It was so cool.
It was good. Yeah, it was like
it was surreal.
It was surreal. It was unprecedented. So people were just watching like old football games and stuff, and it was just like the vibe was nice. And now it's just dead. It's not locked down here, but it probably will soon. There'll be a third wave or something. But
it won't happen again as serious as the original one because people's patience has worn down with it.
Wait, to be fair, where you are, you should be fine. They're opening the entire country in 5 days. You don't even need to wear masks.
I mean, they shouldn't. Our cases are shooting up again as well, which is the mad thing.
David, what's the story with your work? Are you able to work from home permanently, like, or are you gonna have to go back into the office?
I mean, well, yeah, I've been at home since last March, working from home. I've not heard anything about the plans to move back to the office. We have got staff work in the office, but they're socially distanced, and because of that, there's no space for the rest of us at the moment.
Well, do
because
you
they're
reckon?
taking up that space. I
Sure.
think I might be able to get like half and half.
That would be sick. I feel like
At
that's
worst, I might be able to compromise on that.
that's what most people want. I think. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
have you talked to most people? Have you talked to anyone in your office about that? Like whether you
I've
actually want to
talked
go
to all
back?
the other remote staff. Some remote staff want to go back in, but then I'm one of the younger people. Like a lot of the other staff are, middle-aged women. There's a lot of middle-aged women actually in the team. So, and they a lot of them want to be back because they enjoy the social aspects of working in their team. Whereas I'm in the IT side with just a couple of other guys who, we can do everything online. So why not?
Yeah, why not?
That's what I mean. Ideally, if I can, I'd stay fully remote. But I think I'm going to have to come to a compromise and just do like 3 days.
I think there will.
2 days in.
I'd say there will be options to do fully remote though, and it's
Yeah.
like if there is options to do fully remote, it means that your job could be in Manchester or something like.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
It's
it. Like I'm applying
be
for
in
other
Kazan.
jobs. I'm applying for other
Yeah,
jobs,
but
right?
like Handy, realistically, if you want to go to Kazan and get a job in Manchester, that's good because you're like even if it's a shitty job, you're still gonna make a lot more money than the people in Kazan. Whereas if you're living in London or just outside of London and making Kazan money,
yeah,
No,
I
but
wouldn't be living
that's
outside
what.
of London very much longer.
yeah, exactly.
No, but that's what he said though, right? That you can do your job from anywhere. You can do it from Kazan.
yeah.
You can do your
They're
current
living
job from Kazan.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
so
mean,
like,
I've been applying for other jobs that are all over the country. I'm trying to get a new job, and they're all like I'm only pretty much applying for stuff that's fully remote or at least 90% remote.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
would
plan.
that would be sick, honestly.
that's the thing with me is that I didn't have to give my exams, which is something that I am thankful for, uh, to the government, to God, or to all of them, right? But it's like that basically like if you get something, then something gets taken away from you. So that basically means that I'm not going to be able to physically go to university
Yeah.
wherever it could be here or it could be anywhere worldwide. So that's like you didn't give your exams, but you're like 6 months of university at least is going to be online, and I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah, I mean, I loved university. Like, it was the best years for definite. And I think if I thought back now and thinking about missing a whole year of it while doing it from home, that would suck. I think that's all part of the experience. Is you, especially for you, who you're looking to like study abroad or whatever. That's all part of the
Yeah,
experience.
it
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
like university is really cool. At the same time, I just felt like I don't know, for me, it just felt like until I got to my masters, I felt like it was such a waste of time. Like, don't get me wrong, like it was super interesting. Like I studied sports management, so it was really like it was stuff that I was actually interested in. But there was so much downtime and there was so much just bullshit going on, and it just was a bit messy. Like it was really enjoyable because like obviously I had time to go out with friends and like play extra football and stuff like that. But it just was a waste of time.
Were you living at home or were you in like halls?
No, no, no. Living at home. Like I don't know if you know about Dublin or not, but we're the most expensive city to live in. Like
I know.
renting
Well, yeah, I know you like
specifically.
lived near UCD as well, so I wasn't sure. But
Oh
like,
yeah, no. Like
yeah,
when you like Dublin isn't big enough of a city that you'd need to move kind of closer to your college if you live there.
oh
So
yeah,
like
but like if you lived in like the Digs or like Wexford or another town, you'd have obviously had to try and move into halls or student accommodation or whatever, I guess.
oh no, I'm Dublin to true and true. Down the road from Shamrock Rovers.
But that was it for me. Like I don't live in a uni town, so I had to go to uni, and that was all part of the experience. Uni for me was like you're 18 and you're transitioning then into adult life, but at the same time you're still having that same aspect of school life because you're still having time to sort of chill and have fun and relax,
You
do
went to
stuff.
uni in Wales, didn't you?
Yeah, like my uni was like a 5-hour drive from where I live.
Shout out Bangor.
Bangor, man. So
Big up.
that's all part of it.
That is cool.
Like I definitely couldn't imagine doing uni while living at home. Like I definitely like enjoyed that going out and becoming my own person. I think that's all part of it.
Definitely, 100%. And I hope, like Hanu, I hope that you have the opportunity to do that. And
Yeah,
like
same.
it seems likely that you're gonna stay in India for college now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, Not
Well,
necessarily,
just
not
because of the
necessarily a
pandemic,
bad thing.
like you can't come and like study in the UK or whatever because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I hope there are certain ways where you can like go abroad after like a year or two. But I mean, hope we can do that, obviously. But it's like, first of all, the pandemic needs to chill, obviously. But
Pandemic needs to chill.
it needs to chill, bro. It needs to chill because
Yeah, man.
because the second wave here was wild. That was traumatic. So we're just hoping that the third one isn't as bad.
Where are you now? Are you still in Singapore? Or are you?
No, I
in
came
India
back. I came back to India.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you've gained a
So-
couple of hours at least. You're only what 5.5 hours. ahead of us
Exactly.
now?
Yeah. So I don't have to feel like a crackhead every time I'm asleep. I'm not asleep or yeah. So yeah, there's that.
Well, here's to you getting across to the UK at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Me and Artem talk about the RFN 5 aside a lot. Like,
Oh yeah, like that's 100% that has to happen without a doubt. Like so.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, like I'd love even if I don't know, it doesn't have to be obviously in it doesn't have to be in Russia. Or it doesn't have to be somewhere, but I'd love for us to meet up somewhere. Like obviously Russia seems like the you know most obvious place
Yeah.
because you go to a match and shit, but like it could be literally anywhere.
Yeah, find a Korobka. There's that cool Korobka like in the forest near Sparrow Hills.
Oh yeah,
Just go and play in there.
I'd love to go there. Or
Well,
even
there was that really cool one in Gorky Park.
that's the one I was
the
just gonna
Adidas
say.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, was that Adidas? I thought it was Nike.
It was like, oh, maybe it was Nike. I just remember there was some like special stuff going on. Like I was only in Gorky Park for like 15 minutes, but I saw it and there was like stuff going on with like YouTubers or something. It was cool.
Yeah, it's a sick pitch. I remember like me, Park, and Connor went over and we watched so many people play there. Yeah, it's Nike. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool.
yeah,
Literally, I had like 15 minutes here before I had to go and do something else, and I just walked around listening to the song. The song by Scorpions.
yeah.
I just listened to that for like 5 minutes walking around, just because of the line in it. And yeah, man, it's a really cool park. There was like beanbags all over the place. Like
Oh
there
man,
was all sorts going on.
Gorky Park is so sick. Like the last time I was there, this would have been 2019. There was some. Have you ever seen those challenges? I can't remember. People doing an obstacle course essentially. Fuck me. What is the? There's a TV show all around.
Ninja Warrior or
That might be it.
No, it's a knockout.
Takashi's Castle.
No, it would. It may have been Ninja Warrior. Let me just. I'm actually
the one that had in the UK. I remember Richard Hammond presented it. There's another one.
It was sort of like that. Yeah. So basically, they had it all along like the river, people doing shit like this, and it was the coolest thing ever. Like,
Total Wipeout. Was
Total
another one.
Wipeout. That's the one that I was thinking of. Yeah, Total Wipeout.
Yeah,
For anyone
yeah.
who doesn't watch that, it's so cool. Oh jeez. Total Wipeout.
Exposed is a bad speller there.
Yeah, it's my mic is on my keyboard because I don't have that much space on my on my desk, so I'm having to like guess where the letters are. But yeah, it was more actually like Ninja Warrior than it was like Total Wipeout, but that's kind of what I had in my mind. But yeah, really, really cool.
And he's looking at us thinking, what are you on about?
No, I know what you're on about. I was just scheduling a tweet.
Hanu's got
15
work.
minutes to kick off.
Yeah,
we
me and you finish up at the same time probably, or close enough to the same time. Hanu's just starting.
Exactly, my work is at all hours. That's the funny thing, right? Because it's like it'll be the weirdest hours of the day, and I'll get like Anton asking me, "Hey, what do you think of this TikTok?" And it's like at 3:30 a.m. in the night. So it's 3:30 a.m. in the night. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but 3:30 a.m. is like probably midday for you.
It's not that deep anymore. Yeah, I don't have a like. Thing is, right? I was for a while I was upset that I don't really have a sleep schedule, and I like it's a mess. But I'm just relishing it now. I don't really care anymore because at some point it will have to be a regular, sensible sleep schedule, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I might miss these days when that has to happen because nobody really wants to wake up at like 7 a.m.
I don't know. I'd wager my based on what's going on now. I wouldn't be massively surprised if this is just how you ended up working and just got a job that works around your schedule. You probably get pretty well paid for it as well if it's having you stay up that late. Like,
Yeah. So what's your sleep schedule, Artem? What time are you getting up and going to bed?
oh
Artem
jeez,
wakes up
I'm
On
actually
a work day, right?
I'm actually really sensible. This is gonna sound a bit like probably ridiculous, but like I go to sleep at like 11:15 or 11. I get up at 6:45.
Damn. So what's
Yeah,
your
no,
work?
no,
What are your
that-
working hours?
My working hours are 9 to 5:30.
Why are you getting up so early?
Yeah,
Artem-
like I like to have a bit of time before work,
That's a lot of time.
because it's a bit like the thing is if I'm commuting, like if I had to go into the office, I'd have to get up at 6:45 anyway to get up, shower, get ready, have breakfast, and drive to work. But I just do the same thing when I'm at home. Like I'll wake up and I'll listen to an audiobook or I'll scroll through Twitter. I might go for a walk. Like sometimes I go for a walk before
Why don't you
work.
just start work early and then finish work early?
I can't do that because
That sucks.
the way obviously like with
Because
property
yeah.
everything, like it's like people could call me and it's like technically my hours are 9 to 5:30, so I got to be around for those hours. But yeah, I feel like if I was chartered, I'd be able to kind of work around whenever I want. But because I'm doing work for other people are asking me. Like agents, like property agents, have to be pretty much 24/7. Like if someone's
Yeah.
calling you, you got to be ready. Same with property managers. But like because I'm doing valuations, it's kind of like I only need to be like I only need whenever I need to get information from people. Like I basically call between 9 and half 5. But if I was like just writing reports or whatever, I'd be able to do it at any time of the day. But as I said, because I'm only a graduate, because I'm only starting out, like don't really have the luxury of doing that yet.
You'll
yeah,
get
but
there.
One day,
yeah,
well, I'm
okay.
hoping one day I'll be self-employed so I can just set my own hours because I really don't really fancy working for people my entire life.
Well, that's fair. But you go to sleep at quarter to 11.
Yeah.
Because
Because
that is early.
it's exactly 8 hours. That takes 6:45.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, but like, see, that's the difference. That's why I love humanities. There's so many differences. I don't think I've ever gone to sleep at 10:45 in my life. Maybe when I was a baby, and he was just like sleeping. But I don't think, yeah, that early. And I think
Well, I just like if there's something on that'll keep me on past that. Like for example,
yeah,
if
then
I'm
obviously.
planning to go to the pub or something like that, then yeah, obviously like it's not going to be the same. But like on a regular day when I'm not
Yeah,
doing anything, it's like there's not really much to do. And the later that it gets, the more I'm like I'm so close to work and I've got less sleep. I'd rather go to sleep, wake up knowing
see,
that I've got ages to do whatever. Like I could
yeah.
watch 2 episodes of a Netflix series before work if I wanted to.
See
But
that, but yeah, but that's the thing. See, if you wake up, because I actually like, there's a couple of times where I've woken up super early, whether it was like, because this in 2018 and stuff, sometimes we just wake up in the morning and like play a bit of cricket for a couple of hours and then be back
yeah,
home by like 9 a.m. And
yeah.
I really enjoyed that. But it's like, when I have nothing to of that sort, I just like the point of waking up early seems pretty lost on me. But it does, yeah, I see where you're coming from on that. Speaking of, do you guys have anywhere to go or something? Because this is, I think, a fun podcast that we're having.
No, I'm happy to stay on. Like I've got a paddle match at 8:30, so like I've
Yeah,
got an
half
hour and a
eight.
half until then. But like we're gonna
That's,
be finished by then anyway.
Yeah.
But
All we've got is the Ruben Spartak game. 10 minutes.
yeah,
yeah, that's fine. Um, the craziest thing, like, which I found out, I think a couple of months ago. I don't know if we've discussed it on the pod, but we've definitely talked about it before. Is that cafes close at like 4 p.m. in the UK and in Ireland maybe. Um,
I don't think they close that early here. Like I feel
Depends where
like
you
people.
are. Depends
but they
where
close
you
well
are.
early. Like they're not open at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something. They're not-
If you're in
they're not-
London, you'd probably find an open Starbucks, or if you're talking about like a Starbucks or something.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
I think David's spot on there. It's like if it's that late, you'll find somewhere to get coffee, but you won't find everywhere to get coffee. If that makes
Like
sense.
if I walked around my town after 5:30, then yeah, most establishments would be shut, other than like takeaways and fast food places. But if you go into London, you probably those kind of places, your Starbucks, your Costa Coffee, whatever, they'll all be open till like.
So
yeah,
what do you do
later.
in the night? Like, what if? I guess restaurants are open though, right? Like fine
Yeah,
dining
restaurants are
places.
open. Yeah, but cafes. I mean, who's going for coffee at 9:30 in the
No,
evening?
but
Be
it's just like,
surprised
they're
how many
open in
people
Russia.
like
They're
it's
o-
it'd be so weird. Like sometimes, like I don't know, David, if you know anyone who does this, but there's so many times that like me and my mates will be in a pub or something, and one of them will start ordering coffee like halfway through his pints. like where are you going with this? Like,
That's wild. But no, because like when I found that out, I was completely just dumbfounded as to how that could be the case. Because everywhere I've been, it's like cafes are open, and it's sort of like a culture in some places, right? Where you just
Yeah, and like Italy or something, you'd imagine. But
yeah.
and in Italy, they're so strict with their coffee. They won't serve you coffee after a certain point because it's like, well, coffee's your morning drink.
yeah.
Pineapple on pizza is great, man. I don't know why people.
Oh, I shut up.
It is.
It actually isn't bad, but it's not great. I
It's-
wouldn't say it's
it's-
great.
Good.
I wouldn't eat it. I had
Here's
banana
a
on
question
pizza
for both
once.
of you, right?
See,
Just-
that's wild. Banana on pizza.
Yeah, it wasn't nice either.
Yeah. What's your
Here's a
question?
question for both of you, right? And this is like, you have to choose one of these two extremes, right? You're living in either like a super rural place, right? Where there's pretty much like no one around, nothing to do. Where let's say whatever, like the population of your village is like 2,000 or something like that. Small place, like you've got everything that you need. You've got the shops, you've got petrol stations, you've got a little restaurant and a pub and all that kind of stuff, and maybe a few football pitches, right? Or you're living in like the middle of the city where like there's barely any parks or anything because it's so central. Where are you choosing?
Go on, David.
See, like I'm thinking like my head immediately goes to London, being my closest city, and obviously there are big parks in London. So I'm like thinking, well, you don't get cities without parks. But in this, but in the scenario you have put forward to me, this city doesn't have parks.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
it's-
it has parks, but it's not the kind of like call
There's
them
no
urban
peace.
parks, like where it's like a perfect square with like a fountain in the middle, and there's not like football pitches or anything. It's just like you know the urban parks that I'm talking about, like they're just a bit shitty. Like it's grass, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like you're in nature or anything.
Very little peace around.
Yeah.
Well, I've lived in both, so I've had the experience of both. I feel like Bangor is, well, where a couple of places where I lived in Bangor is very rural, and then I've not actually lived in a big city, but I live in the middle of my town where I live, so it's fairly busy. I probably lean towards the city still. I enjoy city life. There's, what's the park I'm thinking of? I think it's Regent's Park in London. It's so big. It's got a ton of football pitches, and you could be dead in the middle, like you can't even hear traffic, nothing. It's wild. Like you'd have no idea you're in the city.
That's mad. Yeah, like that. I feel like I'd probably choose that as well. Like I feel like I'd probably choose the city rather than the country, but I don't know. Like I'm interested to see what Hanu says because he's lived in like the biggest cities.
You know what I said? I've said it so many times though. That's the easiest question for me. I'd live in the city 100%.
Right.
Modern cities have really good open spaces now. Like
I don't even.
They're good modern cities. That is.
Like that's the thing. Maybe I was just conditioned to it or whatever. But that thing Artem described, where it's super rural and there's nothing to do. Like I would really hate that because
Yeah,
I
it
would
sounds a
get,
bit dead, doesn't it?
it sounds so dead. I get that stuff even when it's people say, oh, you know what, in my life, I just want to become a farmer and just have no people around, just have a big farmhouse. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. That's good for a vacation for a couple of weeks at most, but I don't want that. Even
Yeah, I agree.
people like Americans, especially meme people, when they say that um, they're buying a flat, which is apparently a very alien concept in America. And like, why would you not just buy a house? And I get the real estate perspective on that, right? Why it would be more beneficial financially to buy a house, is like a grounded house or something. But personally, I prefer flats as well, man. Like,
Well, I don't know how it works in other countries, but you can't actually own apartments in, like, say, Ireland. Like, you can own you can own it as a lease, but like eventually it's not yours.
Yeah, that's how mine is. Like, I've bought this place that I live in technically, but it's on like a 999-year leasehold.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
technically it is mine, but legally, if I was to somehow live 999 years, I would eventually not own it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's basically, it's something to do with, obviously it's you either own the ground underneath your apartment or you don't, and that's what the difference between a lease and freehold, obviously. But
Yeah,
like, I
we
think
do
that, like,
in
for
India.
that reason, like, because land prices tend to appreciate much faster, it's, if you buy a house, it tends to be a better investment. Now, obviously, like, it doesn't really make a difference if you're only looking at it as a place to live, but
Yeah.
that's probably the way that Americans are looking at it. Like,
my sister is like the opposite of what we all said. Like, I went and visited her recently. She lives up sort of near Manchester way, and she lives in a village of probably like, I don't know, less than 100 people.
jeez,
It's like
Jesus.
that's tiny.
there's like this basically just one road with some houses on it, and that's it. Smack in the middle of the countryside. It's it's an amazing place. Like, it's so nice to be in, but their lifestyle is they don't like the city. Her boyfriend's a photographer, like a wildlife photographer, constantly out going for like walks and the hikes and doing nature trails, and she loves gardening and doing all that stuff. So it's like, if that suits your lifestyle, it's perfect for you. And I enjoyed my time there, but I definitely couldn't have lived there permanently.
Yeah, I could definitely see what the pull is to something like that, because you're like outside of what, like, like, if you're living in a city, in most cases, like, you've got to work pretty hard to keep yourself afloat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're kind of like outside of that, if you're able to make yourself a reasonable amount of money, like, you're kind of, you don't have to work as hard as people in cities would, and like, you kind of take a step back and look at what's, you know, in your opinion, is important, or more important in life.
yeah. Well, that's it. Like, my sister's boyfriend, like, he works from home. He works for, what's that gaming company that does all the cool keyboards?
Razor.
Oh, yeah,
Not
that's what.
Razer, the other one.
I don't know.
Steel series. He works for them.
Logitech.
No,
No,
David just said the name.
Steel
Steel
Series.
Oh,
Steel
he
Series.
did. No.
He works for them from home remotely, so he's on a good wage. And because they're up north, it's a cheap area of the country, so they're making so much money while living in this cheap place they're renting. They don't own the place.
Yeah,
But then, even still, it's like 25 minutes drive to Blackburn, where you can get all the things you could get in a major town or city.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
it's, there is something to it. Like, it's,
That is.
Yeah,
That is.
it's finding the right place and the right balance. Like, it depends what your priorities are. Like, I couldn't do it because I enjoy the perks of living in an urban area where you get good internet, for example, and you've got everything locally.
if you could get good internet in those places though as well, I feel like that would be a massive game changer. Because, like,
Yeah,
there's that whole thing about Elon Musk. He's trying to get Wi-Fi to go through space, through satellites, like,
Yeah.
which is a really fucking sick idea. But, like, there's no way that Wi-Fi going through space, going through the whole atmosphere of the Earth to and from your PC, is going to be faster than, like, a cable connection. But if you're living in one of those places where that's really remote, that it's really difficult to get a good connection to, or it costs a fortune to do it, it actually might be a good improvement to your life. Like,
that would certainly, like, if that was a doable situation, like I could get the same speeds in the countryside that I could get here, then yeah, definitely consider it.
Yeah, I agree.
like living in the country. The internet is just such a big thing in modern life, you know, and a lot of my interests revolve around the internet, whether it be watching football online or playing games or whatever, you know. So the internet has to be.
It has to be pretty.
It's getting up there with, you know, water, electricity, gas. You know, it's a
I think it's
mainstay.
already up there.
Yeah, I think it is as well. Like if you think about it, even just down to the most basic level, we would not be talking to each other if the internet didn't exist. Like it's insane how much like things can change. Like TV now is completely reliant on the internet essentially. Like no one really watches like, you know, cable or freeview television anymore. Everyone kind of watches Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever, like
pretty much
YouTube. So the internet is just another animal.
It is, yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to go off topic wildly and talk about Russian football for 2 seconds.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Krasava just won their first game.
Did they?
3-0 in the cup.
Krasava and Kairat Moscow winning. Look at that. Anyway, imagine you had said that sentence like 4 months ago. Krasava and Kairat Moscow. Like, why are both of those things happening? But
two men beat Amkar as well.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. 2 men beating Amkar. Artem, did your Audacity actually die, or are you back?
No, my Audacity is dead, and my recording is also dead. Like not the audio recording. I'm talking about the video recording. Like I'm really glad we recorded Skype.
I was gonna say I'm not seeing your screen at this point.
So I only just realized that there's no screen here, Artem. So the last like 20 minutes of this are probably not going to be.
It's just your face. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know, but like,
it's okay. It's okay.
We move. I think that's been a pretty good podcast anyway. Like,
yeah, it has. We can keep it going. To be fair, if anyone wants to Discord or anything. But I think
I'm gonna go get ready for my match. To be honest.
But you are alright. Fair enough.
I really did enjoy this. Like, I
think David should become a regular, like an every week regular.
Yeah, I mean, David, if you have the time to do that, you're more than welcome. Obviously,
much.
like, I know that you still do the RFN, so, you know, you might get bored talking about the same thing twice, but,
hey, look,
we don't talk about Russian football that often anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, Artem, you want to...
Yeah, guys, I completely forgot this was a podcast at some point. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. You know, tell us your opinion on any of the things we discussed today. Are you also an illegal immigrant? Like, would you rather live in the city, or would you rather live in like bumfuck nowhere, like in like a mud hut or something? I don't know.
What's your sleep schedule?
Yeah, what's your sleep schedule? Do you get up at the same time as me, or like are you up at all hours like Hanu is? Like, we want to know all about you. So yeah, like I said, like on the video, gold medal on SportRex, all of that good stuff, and talk to you next week.
Yeah.